My name is Catherine. I'm 25. And my life was so gray. Even coffee couldn't fix it. Work, home, sleep. Over and over again. My friends were gone. Love to. I had almost accepted that this was it. Until one morning, I decided to take a shortcut through the park. And I saw it. A simple phone. No lock. No one around. No explanation. I picked it up, not knowing it would change everything. Few hours later it rang, and the voice on the other end turned my world upside down. I thought I was just returning something that was lost. I was wrong, because sometimes, one small accident isn't an accident at all. It's the beginning of a story you never planned, but one that will change you forever.
Love Stories Max. Welcome to my channel. Enjoy watching, friends.
She found a phone, and it changed everything. My name is Catherine. I'm 25, and if I had to describe my life briefly, it's Excel, a minibus, and a cold dinner I eat in front of my laptop. I work as an accountant, and no, it's not the I love numbers, they call me kind. It's the I've been staring at a spreadsheet for 6 hours and don't remember what the sky looks like during the day kind. Every morning starts the same. My alarm goes off at 7 o'clock. I hit snooze 3 times. Then I suddenly wake up at 7:38 and realize I'm about to run like it's a disaster movie, just without the soundtrack. I stand in front of my closet, looking at clothes that don't make me feel anything. A black sweater, a gray sweater, another black sweater that's kind of dressy. I choose between tired and very tired. In the kitchen, coffee. Not because I love it, but because without it, I simply don't function. I've tried switching to tea a few times, but then I look at the world like it personally offended me. The minibus is its own story. There's always a man breathing directly into your face, a woman looking at you like you stole her seat before you were even born, and me just trying not to fall on a turn. One time I did fall. Right onto someone's bag of apples. They rolled all over the bus. I was picking them up, blushing and quietly hating my existence. At work, everything is stable, which means bad but consistently bad. My boss says things like, "You should have done this yesterday." Well, that's obvious. Why didn't you clarify what I meant? And I'm like, because I can't read minds, Sergei Petrovich. I'm just trying not to cry in the bathroom at 2:30 p.m. And I do cry. Not every day, but often enough to know which stall creaks the least. Lunch is either a container of buckwheat or a pastry I eat while staring at my phone. Sometimes I open Instagram and immediately close it, because there, Alya is in Paris. Marina has an engagement ring. Ira has a baby with the caption, "My happiness." Me? I've got a utility bill and a new pimple. My friends either moved away or keep saying let's hang out sometime for the past year. And I'm not mad. I just sometimes sit in the evening and think, who would I even go to a cafe with? Answer, delivery. I come home, drop my bag, sometimes don't even turn on the lights. I just sit on the edge of my bed and think, is this really life? And the worst part, the answer doesn't sound like no. I'm not lucky in love either. The last guy said, "You're nice but kind of sad." Well, sorry, I'm not a clown. Although sometimes my life feels like a full-on circus. There was another one who wasn't ready for anything serious. But for some reason, he was ready to text me at 2 a.m. And another one just disappeared. Just like my motivation to go to the gym after 3 days. Sometimes I feel like there's something wrong with me. Like I'm somehow not enough. Not pretty enough. Not interesting enough. Not the one enough. And one evening, everything was as usual. I ordered pizza. Mixed up the delivery address again. Yes, I'm capable of that. Then I ran around the yard in slippers and a jacket, chasing the delivery guy and almost slipping on ice. When I got back home, I looked like I had survived a small war. I sat in the kitchen, hair messy, pizza slightly cold, tea already cold too. And suddenly, I started laughing, out loud, because it was so absurd, so very me, that I just couldn't hold it in. And in that moment, for the first time, I thought, maybe the problem isn't that my life is bad. Maybe it's that I expect it to be perfect. Because honestly, I'm alive. I can buy myself pizza. I can laugh. I can start over. And maybe Somewhere out there is a person who's also sitting right now, eating a cold dinner and thinking life has passed them by. And maybe we just haven't met yet. I don't know when it will happen. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe in a year. But for the first time in a long while, I felt a little warmer inside. And I fell asleep. Not with the thought, why am I alone? But with the thought, what if everything is only just beginning? That morning felt gray. Not just the weather, even my thoughts had no color. I overslept. Again. Rushing, stuffing my charger, wallet, and something that vaguely counted as breakfast into my bag. At the bus stop, I avoided looking at people. They all seemed like their lives were better than mine. Or maybe just less tired. The bus was packed. I stood there holding onto a cold metal pole, thinking only one thing: how to make this day shorter. And when I got off, I decided to cut through the park, just to avoid the same road I walk every single day. A tiny act of rebellion against routine. The park was quiet. Leaves softly crunched under my feet. A dog barked somewhere far away, and the air felt cool and clean. I was walking looking down when I saw it. A phone. It was lying near a bench slightly off the path. Not new. Not shiny. Just ordinary. The kind that's easy to lose and even easier to overlook. Picked it up. Looked around. No one. I stood there for a second, almost expecting someone to run up and say, "Oh, that's mine." But the park stayed silent. Well, okay, I whispered to myself. I put the phone into my wallet and went to work. I wasn't planning to keep it. I just needed to wait until someone called. The day dragged on as usual. Spreadsheets, numbers. This should have been done yesterday. And I almost forgot about the phone. Until it rang. I flinched. My heart started beating faster for some reason. "Hello," I said carefully. "Hi, this might sound strange, but did you by any chance find a phone?" The voice was young, warm, slightly uncertain. "Yes," I said. "In the park." There was a pause on the other end, like he smiled. "My name is Benjamin." "Thank you." I thought it was gone for good. We agreed to meet after work. Same park. And there I was, standing, holding his phone, feeling strangely nervous, like this wasn't just about returning something. Then a voice. "Are you Catherine?" I turned around and saw him. He was in a wheelchair, young, light-colored eyes, and a smile so genuine it instantly made everything feel warmer. "Yes," I said softly. "I'm Benjamin." He nodded a little awkwardly. "Thank you." "Really?" I held out the phone, but he didn't take it right away. "Can I make it up to you somehow? There's a cafe around the corner. I actually had a small win today, and I'd really like to share it with someone." I was about to say no, out of habit, but instead I said, "Okay." The cafe was small, warm, soft yellow lights and the kind of coffee smell that wraps around you like a blanket. We sat by the window and started talking, at first awkward, about the phone, the park, the weather. But then, something shifted. We laughed, really laughed. Not polite laughter, but the kind I couldn't even remember the last time I had. He told stories, sometimes funny, sometimes a little sad, but always with this lightness. Like life wasn't a burden, but an adventure. I started sharing too. About my job, the buses, the pizza and cold tea. And for the first time, I didn't feel ashamed of my gray life. At some point, I caught myself thinking, I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about being alone. I'm just here, with him. Time flew. It was already getting dark outside. "You know," he said, looking at me, "you don't look like someone who lives a boring life." I smiled softly. "You just haven't seen my Excel." He laughed, and there was so much life in that laugh it made me feel warmer. And maybe for the first time in a long while, that gray day turned a little bit colorful. He called the next day. I was sitting in my kitchen, staring at my coffee, thinking it looked just as tired as I felt. "Hey, it's Benjamin." His voice was just as warm as the day before. "This might sound a little spontaneous, but do you want to come with us this weekend? Out of town. A small resort, a lake, fresh air, good company." I froze. That sounded like something not from my life. "With you?" I asked. "Yeah, me and a few friends. Nothing fancy, just relaxing." I said yes, and immediately started doubting it. That evening, I stood in front of my closet thinking, what am I even going to do there? What if I feel out of place? What if this was impulsive and now it's awkward to back out? I almost texted him to cancel, but I didn't. The next morning, I woke up before my alarm. Just lay there staring at the ceiling. Then my phone rang. "We're already here," Benjamin said. My heart did something strange. "What? Already?" "Yeah, we're outside." I jumped up, threw on jeans, grabbed a jacket, didn't even brush my hair properly, put my shoes on halfway out the door and ran outside. He was there, and a car, and someone inside waving at me. "Hey," he smiled. "Hi." I probably looked a little lost. Ready for a small adventure? I nodded, and we left. The drive was easy. Someone turned on music, someone cracked jokes. At first I stayed quiet, but then I found myself quietly laughing along, and it felt unexpectedly nice. When we arrived, I smelled wood and fresh air. The place was cozy, small cabins, a lake, light smoke from grills drifting through the air. "Come meet everyone," Benjamin said. A smiling girl approached first. "I'm Emily," she said, hugging me like we'd known each other forever. Next to her stood a guy, Jake. Then another couple, Sarah and Michael. They were all so open. No tension, no judgment. And only after a few moments I noticed. Jake had a prosthetic leg. Sarah had a prosthetic arm. Michael too. For a second I felt thrown off. And then I felt ashamed. Not of them, of myself. Of how I complained every day, about work, about being alone, about my gray life. 'Cause they laughed like life was a gift. We went down to the lake and grabbed fishing rods. Emily tried casting her line and got it tangled in her sleeve. "Well, great. I'm officially part of the fishing gear now," she laughed. Jake cast his line, and the hook landed right near the shore. "It's a strategy. I'm going for the small fish." Michael tried lighting the fire on his third attempt. "Fire is emotional. It only shows up when it feels loved," he said with a straight face. And we all burst out laughing. Loud, real, uncontrolled. I sat on the grass holding a cup of hot tea watching them. And suddenly I realized, I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking my life is boring. I'm not thinking I'm missing something. I'm just happy. At some point, Benjamin rolled closer. "You're quiet," he said softly. "I'm just watching." And I smiled. For the first time in a long time. "I don't want this day to end." He looked at me, and there was something very warm in his eyes. "Then let's make sure there are more days like this." And in that moment, I believed him. I don't remember the exact moment when everything changed. There wasn't a single click, where life suddenly became different. It happened quietly, gradually, like someone was slowly adding color back into my black and white world. With Benjamin, everything felt different. He never tried to fix me. He just looked at me like I was already enough. We spent time together, walking, drinking coffee in small cozy places, laughing at things I used to overlook. Sometimes we sat in silence, but it was warm, not empty. I caught myself no longer being afraid of evenings, because they weren't lonely anymore. One day we were sitting in that same park, the one where I found his phone. It was quiet. Leaves rustled softly, sunlight filtered through the trees, and everything felt right. "You know," he said suddenly, smiling a little nervously, "I've been thinking a lot about this moment." I looked at him. He didn't pull out a ring box. He didn't get down on one knee. He just looked at me. "I really wanted to do it the movie way," he said softly, smiling. "Get down on one knee, say something perfect." He paused. "But I don't want this to be perfect. I want it to be honest." My heart was beating so fast I could barely hear anything else. "Catherine, you changed my life, and I want to live it with you. Not perfectly, but truly, with all our funny moments, failures, and wins." He smiled. "Will you marry me?" I don't even remember how I answered. I think I was crying and laughing at the same time. Yes. Just yes. Our wedding was 3 months later. Small, warm, real. No perfection. No staged picture-perfect moments. But full of love. Emily cried more than I did. Jake was cracking jokes even during the ceremony. Sarah hugged me like she was passing her strength to me. Michael gave a toast that made everyone laugh and wipe away tears at the same time. I stood next to Benjamin, looking at him, and thinking, how is it that with him I finally feel like I belong? When we said our vows, my hands were trembling. I can't promise a perfect life, I said, but I promise to be there, to laugh with you, to fall and rise together. I looked into his eyes, and to never see the world as gray again, because he taught me that. He didn't change the world. He simply showed me how to see it. Now, we look at it together, and it no longer feels cold, empty, or colorless. Feels alive, just like me, just like us.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss new stories. And also write in the comments how you liked this story on a scale of 1 to 5. Watch the following video and enjoy watching.